Everyone says they want to be intelligent. They imagine admiration, respect, applause, but history tells a different story. Friedrich Nietzsche warned in Beyond Good and Evil that the thinker who sees too clearly does not rise into comfort, he rises into isolation. The sharper the mind, the farther it drifts from the crowd. Not because it wants to, but because it must. True intelligence doesn't blend in. It exposes contradictions. It notices what others instinctively avoid. Arthur Schopenhauer wrote in The World as Will and Representation that increased intelligence multiplies suffering, not because life gets worse, but because perception becomes more precise. You see more, and what you see is rarely pleasant. This training follows that path. It will not make you socially impressive. It will not make you comfortable. It will make you clear. And clarity has a price. Step 1. Solitude and the relentless question. Nietzsche. Schopenhauer. Nietzsche believed thinking must begin in solitude, not loneliness, but deliberate withdrawal. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, he describes the thinker as one who must step away from noise to hear himself think. So every day for 20 minutes, you isolate yourself. No phone, no sound, no stimulation. Only you, paper, pen, and one precise question. Not abstract philosophy, something personal, something uncomfortable. Schopenhauer argued that most people never examine their thoughts deeply because surface answers protect them from pain. This drill removes that protection. You write the question at the top of the page. You read it aloud. And then you attack it with one word. Why? Every answer gets challenged again, and again, and again. At first, you meet borrowed ideas, social conditioning, excuses, then resistance, then discomfort. That discomfort is the threshold. Push past it, and insight emerges not as inspiration, but as exposure. A fear, a false belief, a misinterpretation you've lived inside for years. At the end, you summarize the strongest realization in one paragraph. Do this for 30 days. Nietzsche called this philosophical self-violence, breaking illusions by force. By the end, your mind stops drifting. It interrogates. This step doesn't give you answers. It trains you to dismantle reality. Step 2. Turning knowledge into power. Machiavelli. Gracián. Most people consume information passively. Machiavelli despised this. In The Prince, he made one thing clear. Knowledge has no value unless it grants leverage. From now on, you do not read to feel intelligent. You read to use. When an idea stands out, whether from a book, a conversation, or a video, you stop and ask, how does this influence behavior? How could this shift a negotiation? How does this expose fear, desire, or control? Balthasar Gracián wrote in The Art of Worldly Wisdom that wisdom is not knowing many things, it is knowing when and how to apply one thing precisely. So you rewrite every idea as an application, not notes, not quotes, weapons, 3 per day. By the end of the week, you review them. You imagine scenarios. You script usage. Slowly, your mind stops absorbing information and starts arming itself. But Machiavelli warned of the consequence. Power requires emotional distance. You stop being a spectator. You stop being innocent. You gain effectiveness and lose warmth. Step 3. Seeing the human pattern. Gracián, Orwell. George Orwell wrote in Politics and the English Language that most people do not think, they repeat. Words, gestures, reactions, scripts. This step trains you to see those scripts. Every day, you choose one environment and observe silently. You don't judge. You don't interpret emotions. You collect signals, repeated phrases, nervous movements, predictable reactions. Gracián believed that those who understand patterns control outcomes, not through force, but anticipation. You write each pattern down. You name it. You catalog it. Over time, Randomness dissolves. People become readable. Reactions become predictable. Behavior becomes mechanical. This clarity creates distance. Schopenhauer warned that once you see human repetition clearly, it becomes difficult to feel emotionally immersed again. But clarity is the goal, not comfort. Step 4. Internal war of ideas. Nietzsche. Nietzsche despised fixed belief. In Beyond Good and Evil, he argued that morality, truth, and certainty are tools used by those strong enough to wield them. This drill trains that strength. Once per week, choose a concept. Truth versus deception. Freedom versus control. Emotion versus reason. For 20 minutes, defend one side with absolute conviction. Then stop, switch sides. Destroy your previous argument with equal force. This fractures ideological attachment. You realize something unsettling. Every belief can be attacked. Every lie can be defended. Every moral structure can bend. This does not make you immoral. It makes you uncontrolled. Nietzsche called this intellectual freedom, the ability to hold opposing truths without collapsing. But it comes with a cost. Certainty fades. Black and white dissolves. Comfort disappears. Final warning, the philosopher's exile. Every thinker mentioned here warned of the same thing. Nietzsche called it isolation. Schopenhauer called it suffering. Machiavelli called it necessity. Gracián called it prudence. Sharp intelligence does not integrate smoothly into society. It clarifies. It separates. It hardens. This training does not make you better than others. It makes you different. You will see more, predict more, and belong less. The question is not whether this works. History already answered that. The question is whether you are willing to pay the price that every great mind before you had to pay. Remain comfortable or think clearly enough to stand alone. If you made it this far, pause for a second. Most people would have clicked away by now. They prefer comfort over clarity. So here's the test. Don't just like this video. Mark yourself. If you're willing to think deeper, type "why" in the comments. Not for me, for yourself. That single word is how this training begins. Now, choose one question you've been avoiding. Write it down. Don't answer it yet. Just sit with it tonight. If this kind of thinking unsettles you, good. That discomfort means something inside you is waking up. Subscribe, not for notifications, not for algorithms, but because this channel isn't entertainment. It's a mental gym. And every video here is another weight. And one last thing. Share this video with one person who claims they want to be smarter. Watch how they react. Their reaction will tell you everything. The next video goes deeper. Not everyone will like it. But if you're still here, you already know you're not trying to be like everyone else. See you in the next session.